Hello friends, how are you guys? I am doing fine and I hope you're also doing fine, just fine. Today I'll be making Atta biscuit. Yes, this is a very healthy snacking option for anyone. We get these store-bought ready-made cookies and biscuits which has a lot of maida and you don't even know what kind of contents they use. So baking cookies at home is definitely one good thing you do, and that too making it with atta, that is wheat flour. It is cherry on the icing. Obviously it's much better. So let's make atta cookies today, and I'll be adding crushed almonds and cashew nuts for a little topping. These cookies are really very close to my heart because I remember that my mother used to send these big boxes full of this cookies to my hostel with me for our midnight munching, and so this is for my mother. Thanks mama a lot for everything that you have done for me. I don't get it done from the bakery, I'll make it myself, but. So let's get started. Start first of all by mixing our dry ingredients in a mixing bowl. I have taken here half cup of atta, that is wheat flour, half teaspoon of baking powder and a pinch of salt. You can take 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 3 tablespoons of caster sugar. The sugar, if you feel the quantity is a little less, you can increase the quantity, but 3 tablespoons is perfect as per my taste. You can obviously increase if you like more. To this mixture now we'll be adding clarified butter. This is 1/4 cup of clarified butter which I've kept in freezer for around 10-15 minutes so that it solidifies. We'll be needing solid clarified butter so that we get a nice flaky, means crisp biscuits. I'll add this clarified butter to the dry ingredients and mix well with hands. I'll show you how you have to mix this nicely. Now with the help of your fingers or your hand, you have to incorporate this ghee into our dry ingredients very nicely. You have to rub the butter with your palms now so that it gets that crumbly texture. We have nicely incorporated ghee in our dry ingredients, and as you can see it has become a little wet, but it has not bind together as a dough. Now we'll add milk enough so that it becomes a nice dough, it comes together. So I have taken here 2 tablespoons of milk at room temperature and mix this nicely. So I think this is done. I have added a little less than 2 tablespoons of milk in this dough. The dough is ready and we'll keep this in freezer for 10 minutes. As I've kept the dough in freezer for 10 minutes to freeze so that we can roll that out easily, and I have prepared my ingredients, my tools and everything for rolling and cutting the cookies. I couldn't find my cookie cutter, so I have taken here the cap of a water bottle. You can also do the same if you don't have a cookie cutter, or you can just cut it with knife, any shape or size that you like. And what else? And I have not preheated my oven yet. I'll be preheating it once I take my dough out and prepare the cookies. And you should also take care, when I say we have to keep the cookies in a preheated oven for 10 minutes, that means the oven should be preheated maximum 5 minutes before. It's not that when you start preparing the ingredients you preheat the oven, it takes half an hour to finish the whole process and the oven will be cooled down by then. So maximum 5 minutes should be the gap, or it should be preheated at the same moment. I have taken the dough out of the freezer now. As you can see, it has become a little solid. I'll dust a little bit of dry flour over it so that it doesn't stick to the bottom, and roll it with the rolling pin. You can keep the thickness as per your liking. I'll be keeping this around 1.5 centimeter thick. Normally, traditionally, these biscuits are 1 centimeter thickness. With this cookie cutter that I have found, I'll just cut them into round shapes. Just remove the extra dough and transfer these cookies to my cookie tray. Okay, I have made all my cookies. I have kept my cookies a little thin so I could make around 17 cookies. If you want to keep them a little thick, the quantity obviously will come out a little less. Now I'll just sprinkle some crushed cashew nuts and almonds over these cookies. And just press a little bit so that they sit well. Guys, because the dough was very fragile, so I used a spatula to lift my cookies from rolling pin to this baking sheet. So you'll also need a spatula to lift, otherwise the cookies will break. These cookies are very fragile because we have added a lot of ghee. You can add nuts of your choice. You can add pistachio also. You can add crushed cardamoms also. Now I have preheated my oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes, and I'll shift this cookies baking tray into my oven, and because the thickness of the cookie is less, I'll bake it for around 5 to 7 minutes, and if you keep them a little thick, obviously the time would increase. I have kept the cookies in oven at 180 degrees Celsius initially for 7 minutes, and I'll check it out. If it's done, I'll take it out, otherwise we'll bake for another 2-3 minutes. Okay friends, the cookies are done now, and I have transferred this to a wire rack so that it cools down a bit, and once it cools down it will become crunchy in texture. It has already become a little crunchy, and I baked them for 7 minutes, and then for 1 or 2 minutes I kept the top element on and grilled them for 2 minutes so that it gets a nice brown color on the top. So friends, our homemade atta cookies are done. They just taste so good, and the ghee added in these cookies gives an awesome flavor. You can add butter to it or dalda ghee or any kind of shortening to it, but the ghee will give that authentic nice taste. They are very crispy, crunchy, and the ghee, as I told you, gives an awesome flavor. Just to tell you, I have made them in very little quantity. Make them in huge batch, and you can store them for 2 to 3 weeks and enjoy anytime. So here is your atta cookies. Ta-da!